Hey everybody, Felix Staffelbaker here. I wanted to make a video basically about EOS being a pivot and profit strategy. So I still believe in EOS. I still believe in everything that I've talked about for the past few years, and even buying into the ICO. I still believe all that's possible. I still believe that Block 1 is going to come through with a lot of things that they initially promised and planned on. And I think that the backers involved, the ICO investors, the hedge fund billionaires, all those types of people that we covered going on years now, didn't even Google Cloud, SpaceX, like these types of corporations and hedge fund investors and billionaires didn't invest in this for no reason or to lose their investment. It's very much just a market timing event for them. But I think that for the average person and somebody looking for freedom and looking for the future, EOS is a hold when the price goes up and we reach a top in this bull run. It is a sell. It is a pivot to other assets such as Bitcoin, real estate, property, investment property, gifting property, all types of other assets, even covered in the video EOS Entrepreneurs, other stuff like that, where basically because we've come to the conclusion that EOS mainnet as a whole may be compromised. It's not 100% confirmed, obviously. I can't sit here and show you a document saying this is proof EOS did this or whatever. But, we've come to the conclusion that based off circumstantial evidence, we have reason to believe that Yves LaRose is acting as a rogue World Economic Forum operative and trying to co-opt EOS. It may have even been as far as to stage the EOS X loan hack and implement bad code on purpose as to set the precedent for intent is code, and to be able to change private keys of a account on EOS that may have even been Yves LaRose himself trying to sabotage an EOS Nation application that he was CEO of at the time and advocated to 15 of the top 21 block producers in order to change the private keys of the supposed hacker and send the money back, and essentially set the precedent that if 15 of the top 21 block producers do not agree with you, do not agree with your opinion, do not agree with your stance, as long as they can identify you, they can hack and change your private keys. And obviously they don't even have to identify you. If they just think that you're doing a transaction that they don't approve of, that's worthy of being able to have your private keys changed in the view of someone like Yves LaRose. And so even though people disagree with Block 1 and think that they haven't done the best of job and they haven't agreed to their promises of the ICO and yada yada yada, even though if you look at the legality of it, they didn't hire the Cooley law firm for no reason. They aren't part of, the biggest investor is the Lansom investment group that's a couple blocks away from Buckingham Palace. I mean, this stuff isn't hard to figure out if you're really looking and if you really care and if you're really being honest with yourself. But if you're not able to step back on a macro level and look at it from the top down, and you're able to look at it from one nuanced point of view, you're going to think this is total lunacy. You're going to think this is impossible. You're not even going to address this video because you're the mark. You're the tool. You're the one that we're going to dump on at 1,000 plus. And, you know, that's fine, but it's like, at some point, just understand, you know, I'm not a bad guy trying to dissuade you. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to be like, look, this is circumstantial evidence that can't be overlooked. B1 might be literally as bad or worse than you think. But Yves LaRose is literally like multiple levels above that. And that's all I'm saying, is that at least Block 1 has the patent for being able to scale Bitcoin on top of EOS, which if you stay on in the future may be used to freeze your account now that Yves LaRose is in charge of the EOS Network Foundation. But also that Block 1 got the waiver from the SEC. You know, that's worth $4 billion in and of itself if it turns out to be one of the only few that have that and have that going forward, that ends up being instrumental in implementing new blockchain technology to the masses. And if you're holding EOS while that happens, you're going to be wildly successful. Something like holding Google or Amazon or Microsoft, Yahoo, all those types of things. And people aren't taking that into account, and they're going to miss out because of it, even though they might be getting in because now Yves LaRose is in charge. And I think that, you know, basically people not taking all that into account are going to be the ones that regret it the most. I mean, this takes a bit of critical thinking, but if you have an overview of like how this is supposed to go in the final end game, you can kind of understand that this is the public rollout, public relation rollout, and that type of thing. So it's going to look a little chunky, it's going to look a little blocky, a little rough, but by the time the heavy money comes in and you're scrambling to buying and FOMOing, you know, it'll be abundantly clear what's going on. You know, EOS mainnet is secure and all that kind of stuff, so that's not a problem. But if the top 15 of the 21 block producers disagree with you and they can identify you, which we've already covered the Russian cyber pandemic, that essentially the CIA, the Western governments are running on Russia. And if you look, the Ukrainian president, the Russian president, they're all coming out and saying that this is a NATO aggression against Russia to start a pretext war to be able to justify what they've been doing in Cyber Polygon, which we covered over a year ago, that would be a cyber pandemic and be able to implement a global internet identification. And something like that would be able to run on top of EOS. And, you know, I talk about this on Twitter and people think I'm crazy, but if you look at it, that's exactly what's going on. I'm not saying that Russia's perfect, not saying I idolize Putin by any measure, but he's literally just saying, like, everyone should have freedom. And he was doing a drill against the border of Ukraine that he does every year, and now he's pulled back, but they're about to stage a cyber attack and blame Russia and then use that as a pretext for a global internet identification system. And then on top of that, whenever Bitcoin scales EOS scales Bitcoin, you'll be able to have your account shut down once they're able to identify you and say that they disagree with your beliefs. So get ready for all that. You voted for it. You're promoting it. And, you know, I'm not saying I promote it, but I think that EOS is a buy, hold, and then definitely sell, especially for something like Bitcoin or something else that you can self-custody, assets, real estate. heavy machinery, all types of stuff that you can start businesses with, buildings that you can start churches with, all types of stuff that you can fight the devil with. Whenever we go into the tribulation, which the cyber pandemic after that should be triggering World War III, and there'll be nukes, and the Bible talks about a third of mankind being died off, and like, I mean, people just aren't even ready for it. They literally can't even understand the Federal Reserve is private. Like, I just can't with these people. So I just want to put that out there that, in my opinion, EOS is a pivot in profit now. Like, it's time to stand up. Like, we have nothing left to fight for except our existence itself. And if you're not willing to put in the work, put in the time, put in the effort, like, you're just going to get what's coming to you. So I just want to put that out there. This is just a real quick thought. Stoffel Baker out.